Okay, we're onto the rudder. This is going to be completely different than anything we've done to this point. When we built the wings, we were using these things called building tabs. And we have very detailed instructions. Slide A goes into slide B. And the building tabs were almost like training wheels. And that's kind of good, because by the time you get to this section, if you're a first-time builder, you'll have built more than enough confidence to tackle this rudder. So the cool thing about how this process works is that we're basically supplied materials, and that's it. We've got a carbon trailing edge spar, we've got a balsa leading edge spar, we've got a block that we're going to make the top and bottom tips out of, and we've got some material to cut balsa ribs from, and we've got a little bit of fiberglass that we can go and cut our bell crank supports and our pieces that the control supports. So here's the cool thing about this. I've got to build two of these because I'm building an electric and I'm building a true sailplane. This first one I'm going to build as per the plans, meaning exactly as the picture says it's to be. All right. The second one I'm going to have some fun with, because I think the cool thing about this, and I think what most builders will like about this process, is you can get very, very, very artsy, I guess you would call it, or very inventive with what you want this to look like. So the main deal as far as what's happening inside this plan, as long as you stay within the confines, is that we have strong support, we don't add too much weight. But the design of these ribs, it doesn't have to be this way. You can come up with anything you want to come up with. If you wanted to come up with some kind of, carving in there, but yet weren't adding the weight, go for it. So this really gives you the ability to put your own personal touch into this sailplane. So some people were asking why do a build versus buy a ready to fly. Here you go. This is exactly one of the reasons. So, but for the basic build, I'm going to build the first one just exactly as is set forth on the plan. So let's go over what we've got. What we need to do first is we need to deal with the balsa spar. And the balsa spar obviously fits on our fuselage like this. So we need to have a forward, a top and a bottom, and a forward and a back. So we need to mark that first. Once we've decided that, we can put it back on the plans, and you can see here that center has been marked for us, and we need to transfer that to the balsa spar. I'm going to do front and back. We also have on this side, we have places where we can mark where the intersections of these ribs would go, and where the bell crank would go, and where we need to put our control surfaces for the bell crank, okay, or for the clevis for the rudder, okay. So those things are pretty straightforward. We can size lengths on the plan itself. We have a top view of the rudder itself up here to get sizing as well, as far as the ribs are concerned. But we also need to understand that these are compound joints, and the cuts are going to have to be done so. So what we're going to do is get them close, and then we're going to have to do some finish shaping and finish sanding. So that part is actually going to be a lot of fun. So the difference for me in this is, instead of me building the rudder and at the end showing you this stage, and at the end showing you a finished product, instead I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I did this in stages, and basically start with the upper and lower balsa tips, because obviously these are going to have to go from the top at this shape out to that thin to the trailing edge, to the bottom at that shape out to that trailing edge with that compound angle. And it's like I said, it's going to be a lot of hand carving and process to get there. Here's the difference though. This whole thing is made with balsa. So when you build with balsa, it's a lot different than if you were using cherry. We can mess up here. We can take our time. Getting through a ½ inch of material will take you 2 or 3 seconds in some cases, depending on what kind of tool you're using. If you're hand sanding, you can go through this stuff in 5-6 minutes. So we're not talking about an exorbitant amount of time because we're doing this with balsa wood. So, and this process should be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Anyhow, I'm going to build these two and then come back and show you what I came up with and tell you what I did. So see you in a second.